Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we are talking about the debut full-length studio album from one Nathan James entitled Hollywood Mortician, and I'm gonna let y'all know right off the bat, this might be the most unoriginal and flat-out boring metal album of 2025 so far. Goddamn, what a snooze fest. But who is Nathan James, you ask, with a glint of curiosity in your eye? To which I respond, shut up! Don't interrupt me, that's rude, I'm getting to it. Shut up! From what I can gather, Nathan James is a completely independent rock and metal musician hailing originally from Denver, Colorado. For many years, he was a photographer shooting for the likes of Lil Wayne, Justin Bieber, Post Malone, Avril Lavigne, and then in very early 2020, he made that transition into making and producing and releasing his own music under his own name. He describes himself on his website as an up-and-coming new metal artist, so I guess he feels like he's bringing something completely brand new to new metal. That is up for debate, in my opinion, but we'll talk about that later. He's had a few semi-viral hits and buzzworthy moments here and there. I've seen Revolver Magazine write about him, and peers of mine here on YouTube, like Belgian Jasper and Val Kleinhans of the Vigorously with Val podcast, they've both featured Nathan on their channel. They've spoken to him. They've talked about his music with them. So there's definitely a solid amount of hype and enthusiasm and momentum behind this album right now. I'm just not entirely sure that it's earned. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority here, but I just felt like this album was a complete snooze fest. And I feel like it doesn't really have anything really that original to say or offer at all. I mean, Nathan James describes himself as a new metal artist, which directly implies that this is a new take on new metal. And I mean, to be fair, it doesn't really sound like Slipknot or Korn, or even a derivative of Slipknot or Korn, like a band like Vended or Chaosium, but it doesn't necessarily have its own unique identity or personality. It's a hodgepodge still of other things that are already kind of out there. It borrows heavily also from industrial and gothic and alternative metal, and I would say more specifically, it just kind of feels like a really clumsy mix of the most generic, tried and true, tropey elements of like Marilyn Manson, Ghostmane. It kind of reminds me of like some like TikTok rock metal kind of stuff, like more trendy modern stuff like Jervis Johnson in certain parts as well. A lot of very mumbly parts here and very flat, unenthused hooks and screaming parts and rapping parts. A lot of auto-tune across the album as well, which makes the whole thing just feel a little bit more fake and phony and disingenuous. It's very angsty, it's very edgy. I do feel like there is some honesty and vulnerability to the lyrics, but simultaneous to that, there's so many just corny sprawls and whack-ass fucking bars and lyrics that just kind of pull you out of whatever you're supposed to actually be feeling. Like The Hangman, for instance, wants to sound really tough and menacing and resilient and show how much Nathan James has triumphed and persevered over the haters, so to speak. But I can't help but just giggle and chuckle when Nathan James barks out, "Knock, knock, banging down your door. I'm the big bad wolf. You can't escape me anymore. Knock, knock, born from the underground. Free quick puffs. I'll blow your whole house down, bitch." And it just gets edgier and dumber as it goes along. Like in the pre-chorus, Nathan James writes, "I'm batshit. I wreak havoc in your casket because I am the hanged man. You fat pigs all chat big but don't have shit because I am the hanged man." Side note, what does that mean? What does it mean that you are the hanged man? Are you referring to the tarot card? Or are you literally saying that, like, you've been hung for some kind of crime? You've been lynched, you've been persecuted, you're so controversial, you're so... Like, I don't know what else to really take from that. The whole song at a certain point just kind of gives me Jared Leto Joker vibes, like, don't make me insane, don't call me crazy, I'm dangerous, I'm edgy. Ooh. And all the while you have some pretty straightforward paint by numbers kinds of like plotting riffs and breakdowns and some really, really ugly barking vocals. Like just genuinely really, really badly done. There's no force behind it. There's no power behind it. I don't really feel the weight of anything here. It really just sounds like Nathan kind of like yelping into a microphone. And from there, it just gets worse and worse. The track Los Angeles is a slurry of tacky, edgy, cringeworthy, Hot Topic-esque metal nonsense. There is an absolutely awful auto-tuned chorus, which later on is layered over an unnecessary diversion into fairly generic paint by numbers, black metal. I'm all for pissing off the true black metal crowd, because fuck them, but not sure this is how you want to do it. For the first time maybe in human history, I'm inclined to side with the true black metal crowd on this one, because what the fuck are we doing? This is objectively so ugly. And you hear gunshots all through the track, and Nathan James, like, dreaming about murdering people and burying people, and, like, he kind of, like, mumble growls at a certain point, like, run, motherfucker, run. And it's just so fucking goofy. Then there's Alienation, which kind of feels like a mix of like Linkin Park and Motionless in White, and I know what you're thinking. In theory, that might be kind of cool. It could be big, bombastic, full of melodrama, and it could put some of those angstier, edgier tones and lyrics to good use, creating something that like legit feels big and powerful. But no, not that at all. For one, I feel like the track is rushing itself. We spend absolutely no time marinating in anything that's happening. It just kind of like happens. Verse, chorus, fuck off, go home. And Nathan James's rapping in the verses as well leaves a lot to be desired. There is just no enthusiasm, no spark, no personality whatsoever. It kind of reminds me of like that very flat kind of rapping tone that we get from like Tom McDonald, but thankfully without the culture war BS attached to it. Then Bloodhound leans really far into some full-blown Marilyn Manson worship, with some mumbled, growling vocals once again, and some big, loud, slightly obnoxious, definitely very generic industrial metal poundings and batterings. It also feels like the song is trying to sound more disturbed and more angular and anxious and menacing than it actually is, because it just has all these different atmospheric textures and tones and like weird, creepy-ish sounding bits all throughout. Like it sounds like the track is just kind of trying to shock me. Like it's a cheap jump scare in sonic form. There are some more like moody, gloomy, melancholic-ish vocals kind of all throughout that I guess brings to mind a little bit of 90s Deftones, but for the most part, it's just like straight up Marilyn Manson worship and not even like quality Marilyn Manson shit. Like more like mid-late 2000s Marilyn Manson. In the beginning of Tickets to Your Downfall, Nathan kind of like loudly whispers into my ear, "Hey, I've got a secret for you. Come closer." And then eventually just screams, "You messed with the wrong motherfucker," after which we get some of the most flat, meat-headed, boring-ass fucking riffs I've heard on an album all goddamn year, with some more mumbly, tough guy kind of rap nu metal shit, big-time King 810 vibes. I was rolling my eyes all the way through, just boring, snore-inducing shit. And God, the less said about like the oddly bubbly, upbeat orgy collab entitled Nails, the fucking better. Yikes. What the fuck were we thinking? I mean, everything about this, from the excessive use of auto-tune to the ugly, barking, grumbling, mumbling vocals, the unenthused raps, the flat, generic, lifeless riffs and beats and hooks and melodies, and, you know, Nathan trying so hard to sell me on this image that he's angsty and he's edgy and he's vulnerable, but he's also like really tough and you don't want to fuck with him. You really don't want to fuck with him. He'll put you in the ground. It's just not fucking working for me at all. The best thing I can say about this album is that it doesn't overstay its welcome. Like, it's a fairly short album, and that's not exactly high praise. I'm honestly feeling a 0.5 out of 5 on this. I just think it's an insultingly bad record. Like, I think this is fucking awful. Easily one of the worst and one of the most completely unoriginal and boring, cringeworthy easily one of the worst and most cringeworthy, most unoriginal, boring albums of 2025. I mean, for me, this might be the worst metal album I've heard so far this year. It certainly beats the shit out of the Machine Head record, which was previously my #1 worst of the year. You know, oftentimes when you see like Revolver Magazine, Blabbermouth, and other YouTubers kind of like hype up an artist, when you see an artist have like viral hits, even if I don't like them, I can understand like why they're seeing that kind of success. Like with Kim Dracula, I did not like that album, Gradual Decline in Morale. I still think it's an absolute clusterfuck of artsy-fartsy random bullshit, but I can understand why somebody looked at that and went, this is cool, this has something to say. This, however, I don't fucking get it at all. Not one fucking bit. Not a fan. 0.5 out of 5. Ugh. Awful. Blah. Pass. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I am not an expert, nor do I claim to be, contrary to very popular belief. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here. Boom other videos. Join us on Discord. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.